DJ and PK brought to you in part by the Humane Society of Utah. Join the zone for Hans and Scotty's Day of Adoption in partnership with the Humane Society of Utah. Just $12.80 adoption fees all day on June 25th. Plus, the zone will be live at the Humane Society of Utah in Murray from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Bring home a furry friend on Hans and Scotty's Day of Adoption. DJ and PK, it's time to bring in Steve Cleveland, former BYU and Fresno State basketball coach. And off the Day of Adoption, coach, your favorite pet, dog, cat, tortoise, hamster, snake? What'd you have growing up?
You know, I had never had cats. We had dogs in our house. We loved our dogs. I tell you, maybe the most. I've lost my parents and obviously some good friends and things too. But right up there is losing pets. And I remember when my wife Kip and I we were at BYU at the time, and we had this little dog, and we was getting old and probably 14 or 15 years of age, and it was one of the most traumatic things in my life. I just could not deal with it, and the kids and the family, everybody was kind of quite upset. In this situation, when the dog died, my good friend Brian Santiago, I told him to come over. I said, listen, we can't do this, so would you please come over and get the dog and just take it, down to the pound and stuff. And he said, I'd be more than happy to do that. And we were just really depressed. And so we got through it, got through the afternoon, and Kip and I went out and had to run some errands. And lo and behold, we pull up. You can't make this stuff up. We pull up to the stoplight, and I look over there left of me. This is like 3 or 4 hours later, and Brian is sitting in the car. He's the car next to us at the stoplight. And I rolled the window down, and I said, hey, did you get the dog? He said, oh, I'm on my way now to take it over to the pound. Well, I think we both just burst out in tears right there and said, please take that down. Oh, goodness. Like I said, you can't make that stuff up. But, I love my dogs. They've been so good. We don't have a pet right now. All of our kids have them. But I think the older Kip and I get, we realize, we need the dog again in our life. I just need to make sure that I die before the dog dies.
Oh, jeez. Well, that took an ugly turn. That wasn't where I was going with this.
That's the vulnerability of it all. I get it completely.
I didn't say I didn't get it. It just is an ugly turn.
Oh, yeah. But on a happier note, did you feel any sense of pride for your fellow Fresnonian and Bryson DeChambeau?
Oh, man, I'm telling you, I am so excited watching that. So Bryson went to Clovis East High School, and that was in the same conference that Clovis West was when I was a high school coach. And he used to play and train, and he had some guys were helping him with his game. And so we had a few opportunities to kind of meet him. And I'm not a friend or anything of that nature, but it was fun. And I think the thing that I just loved about this is that, one, I think the passing of his father a couple of years ago had a really traumatic impact on him. And I know it's just because I do have some friends that are close to him. And there was a maturity there that I had not seen. And his responses, his post-game, it was so authentic, so just, I don't know. For me, it was kind of emotional just to see him conquer that and go through all the live stuff. And they addressed that a little bit in the post-conference. But it's just so good to have him feel that way, overcome that. And I think we miss guys like, whether you like them or not, but, whether it's Koepka or it's DeChambeau or it's, all the guys that kind of left. I just would like to see some healing and somehow, some way see that reconnection, because Bryson DeChambeau is he's a rock star, man. I'm telling you right now. Everyone is just loving him and happy about what his success has been and the difficulties and challenges. And he's a quirky guy, man. He's got he's like the mad scientist with his game. And I do have a really close friend who bought those clubs, got those clubs the same size, and he was about a 3 handicap. This was a year or two ago. He was so excited about them, and he no longer has them. He's already given them away. He said, I couldn't do it. And this guy was a 3 handicap. And he said, I just could not figure out how to do it. And but it's working for Bryson. And I just elated. It made my day to see him win that tournament. And I have nothing against Rory. I love watching Rory, and I felt bad for him. But, man, made my day to see him win that tournament. And, wow, what a grind, huh? It's just an absolute grind. But it was a wonderful day. Good Father's Day. Present.
I thought the grind was the magic of it. I think if Bryson had hit the fairway and hit the green and 2-putted, but he had to scramble. And for all of us weekend hackers, whether you got a 10, 20, or 30 handicap, who hasn't been worried about the backside? I know you don't get the 30 handicap, you don't worry, but you get the point. The people who can't break 100. We've all worried about the tree in our backswing, and we've all worried about the root in front of us. In that moment, how do you not identify with the guy? Except he's got the U.S. Open on the line. I couldn't have turned the channel then, and I don't have any tie to either one of those guys. There's no way I could turn the channel then. I was totally fascinated. I had a 2-iron at one point, and I bent it on a tree root I didn't see in thick rough underneath a tree once. And the stinger I got up my arms into oh my gosh, it was like getting electrocuted. And I was thinking about that swing, watching him like, what's he going to do here? And he's going to dump it in the trap, and he's going to get up and down. It was awesome.
Man, nobody was in that junk more than he was.
Yeah.
And, just his strength. And we all miss 2 and 3 foot putts. We get to the point of my age, that they're gimmies. Unless we got quite a bit on the line, normally, we're a pretty forgiving group. That's good. And but what a grind to have those 2 and 3 foot putts and to see them. I mean, these are the greatest golfers in the world, and it wasn't just 1 or 2. And another thing that made me really happy was Tony Finau and how he finished. And I know Tony, and we've had a few conversations. I'm not, it's not like we're close friends, but you kind of being from Utah, you pull for him, and I just felt like he took a real major step as well, just hanging in there and toughing it out. So, no, it was really good. But you're right. Those 2 and 3 footers for me. I'm just waiting for that. That's good, Steve.
Yeah, really. Yeah. For sure, yeah, and you pick it up. And, and we were talking about this, obviously, and when guys get in position of wanting it so bad, the pressure is outside influence, but it's mostly from the inside because it's just something that you've been working for. McIlroy's a 35-year-old man, so and he came over as a youngster and lived in Utah for a year, I think, and played junior golf and all that stuff. And he's been somewhat of a prodigy, and is in that moment, the biggest moment, and it didn't happen for him, and it's unfortunate, and you feel bad. But, it's across the board, particularly in sports. I think it can be across the board in life where you just do something wrong because you wanted it so bad. You've been in terms of being a mentor to young people for many, many years, and I'm sure you've seen those types of things. Anything that a coach can do in a team sport to get a player to be able to be more relaxed, because those are such pressure situations. And unfortunately for Rory, it didn't work for him. Now he's got to pick himself up and go forward, and he has an opportunity to redeem himself, if that's what you want to call it. But what do you do as far as helping easing the pressure?
We talked about this a week or two ago, David, just talking about the teams today, and it doesn't matter what the sport is, but not every university provides this, but I think that especially the larger conferences, they just seem to have everything in their programs to help with whether it be physical or mental or whatever. But I mean, I know just talking to some of the BYU athletes, and they speak so highly of the individuals, I'm not going to mention names, that are our mental strength coach. And just, whether it's, shooting free throws or it's making a 2 or 3 foot putt. I know this when, as a coach and at every level, you always are going to have those experiences where a young man misses a free throw or misses a 2 foot putt. And the weight of the world is on him, and I felt like I had been through those same experiences, and I think when you can share similar experiences, whether they're related to sports or family or business or whatever, but having that opportunity, and I think it makes good sense. I mean, the world is so more transparent today than it's ever been, and you just, whether it's social media, whether it's on national TV, wherever it's at, it's hard to hide. And everybody's gone through it. I think that's one of the reasons that we all have empathy for people that happened. I mean, I really dislike the fact that he can't finish it, and lay it on top of them that, when they've already had moments of success. And you go through life as an individual or as part of a family or a team, you're going to have heartache and you're going to have difficult times and mistakes are made. And so I love the emphasis that we're not just dealing with their physical, maladies and problems and challenges, but the mental thing is just such a big part of it. And so, I mean, I remember when guys were not shooting the ball well. I always felt, and I mentioned this before on the show, but I always felt like when I had a really good player that was really struggling, that was the time that I always sat down, watched film, went out and just one-on-one shot with that player. And we had plenty of assistants to do that, but I just felt like when you're a head coach and it's one of your key players who's really lost their confidence and kind of the sense that, can I get through this? What about the next time I have to shoot a meaningful free throw, or when's the next time I'm going to have to make a meaningful putt? I think those kinds of things where you feel safe and there's space and you feel like coach is behind me, he loves me no matter what is happening and no matter where I'm at. That kind of sense of parenting and as a coach have really good memories of those experiences. And all in all, I just think it was a mental health part of it, big part of it. And, Rory, the good thing is he's going to have a tournament another week or two or whatever, and he'll be back at it. And the thing is, too, we never talk about all the putts they have made that have been meaningful, and we tend to focus more on those where you miss it. And, the fact that he missed 2 out of the 3 holes, it just feels sorry for the guy and his circumstance. But he'll jump back. He's getting paid a ton of money, and that's what pressure's about. And a week, 2 weeks, maybe at the British Open, maybe that's when he breaks through and starts making putts and wins that, and he'll forget about that U.S. Open real quickly. So I think you focus on the next task. And for Rory, it's to go back to the United Kingdom and see if you can win a British Open.
I don't know if you've had a chance, switching gears here, what are we, about 10 days or so away from the NBA draft. Have you had a chance to watch video of these guys? Have you talked to people in the basketball world about these guys? Do you have anything that you can throw to Jazz fans, or do you need a week and, that's for next week's appearance?
Well, no, here's the deal. I'm going to be kind of involved with the draft night like I did it last year, and that was a lot of fun. And I'm just beginning my kind of research on that, so I I'm excited about it, and I had so much fun with the guys last year when we did that. It was kind of a 6 to midnight deal. And so I'm probably not as prepared for that right now, but I'm excited. And next week, Monday, let's talk about it. And I'll be way more prepared then than I am now. But yeah, no real personal situations with the draft in terms of recognize somebody that I've had a relationship with, but I am excited about it, and I'm excited about what's happening with the Jazz. So give me some time, and we'll dig deep into that, and I look forward to it.
The intriguing factor going into this, and this is a great time. I love the NBA draft. It's my favorite draft. And I recall, as we all do, last media availability by Ainge, he's talking about we're going to go big game hunting. Well, I don't know that you can go big game hunting exclusively through the draft, right? Because I don't know if any of these guys are going to be in the category of big game. Who knows? There may be 5 of them. There may be 2 of them. There may be 0. Time will tell on that. But it's just the intrigue of what they do with these picks as far as do they even utilize them? Do they package them? And does that help them go and get big game hunting? To me, and I think to most folks, we think about that means, okay, you're going to establish or you're going to trade for, acquire an established NBA player, maybe even two, as far as that goes. But you got this 10th pick here, and you just look at Dallas last year, right? They lose at the end so they can keep the pick, and then they get Lively. I believe he was drafted 12th, 2 picks later than what the Jazz are doing. So it just leads to all sorts of intrigue. It's like a big mystery that you won't know how it turns out. Even when we find out who the pick that they make or the trade that they make, you still don't know, and then you wonder, wow, should I kept this? It's just, man, I can't imagine. I don't really have a question. It's just more of a thought process about how crazy this stuff is because so much is riding on it here in the next week or so.
Yeah. One of the things, and Derek Lively's a great example, but I got the sense and feeling just during the course of the year that certainly you want to get someone there. I didn't get the sense and feeling from the things I've heard from the Jazz that they're going to try to get rid of all the draft picks and make a big hit. It felt like maybe have more applications the following year when there seemed or appear to be a stronger and deeper draft than there is this year. Now, again, I haven't done a lot of research on that, but you just listening to conversations, I didn't get the sense and feel like, hey, this is we're gonna do this no matter what happens. We're gonna get draft picks, trade them, find a guy that can make a difference. It felt like you probably have a better chance with those draft picks the following year than you maybe do have this year. But you do have the 10th pick, and how that plays out, we'll just have to see. But my just from conversations I've heard and things that you guys have shared, I felt like is this draft? I mean, it's always important, and you might find a hidden gem there, and maybe a second round guy that ends up, surprising everybody. But just to me, it seems like the Jazz are going to stand still here for a bit. They've got a core group of guys. They're going to continue to get better, and maybe it's a year from now that they really turn a corner and get some huge hits.
Steve, we'll leave it right there for now. We appreciate the time. We look forward to talking draft with you next week.
Yeah. Sounds good. Thanks, guys. Take care.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. You missed a lot over the last 3.5 hours, but we will catch you up next. Stay with us.